So now that we're 48 hours into your viral post, and I'm just like, wow, to a point where my mother sends me the message saying, what is your opinion about an 18-hour workday?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, this got really viral. How do you feel? I mean, I think there's a thing that there's an opinion, and there's always everybody's opinion that comes in. But I guess this one got a little more than. How are you reacting? How are you feeling after all of that thick skin that you say you have?
I do have thick skin. Like if I've been in meetings all day. Yesterday I was fully productive. I went to sleep on time. I exercise in the morning. I genuinely, it's not affected my happiness at all. I do feel 2-3 things. I think my eyes opened up a little bit to it when my best friend messaged me saying, "Hey, I don't agree with you," and I was like, "Why?" He like you, and I've been with him. He's been a banker with toxic bosses for many years. And he said, when I read this, I felt belittled at my workplace. And I was like, that's an interesting point of view. I didn't think about that. Because I think that message for someone who is working hard, doing their best in a situation where the environment is genuinely toxic and or they have a bad boss, etc., came across as, I think I represented all the bad bosses in and I don't
Sure.
blame people for thinking that. So that's when I realized, okay, fine, I think context was narrow and nuance was needed. However, I think, and I've been disagreed with a lot, and
Sure,
I'm very
yeah.
comfortable with it, and I have a lot of conviction in my point of view, and genuinely, I also change my point of view very easily. I'm not
Sure,
someone who's very
yeah.
stubborn intellectually. But this time, I think what happened was the leap people made from entrepreneur to slave owner was quick, right? And then it became a very venting place for people to say, you know, and I think I worded it also fairly casually. I should not have done that. I think I worded it as rona dhona mat karo, put in all the effort, 18-hour work days, which I think I just meant to say, take it on the chin and be relentless because you have maximum opportunity, minimum responsibility. And you have a max energy, you're a 22, 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Kaam karo, don't be distracted. But I think for me, Bhavna, it became a little tricky when parents started getting WhatsApp messages saying you've raised a slave owner or, hate of that nature, which becomes difficult to explain, defend. You don't know how to deal with it. And people in your company are very conflicted because they're like, this guy's a really chill. Like, honestly, I'm a chill guy. Very, with my company, I'm very chill. So I think it led to more complication than it's worth. I don't think the opinion were. It's not like
So once the emotions settle, which it will, right? I mean, we all have the attention span of a lizard, of butterfly. I don't even know what, right? Like the next thing is going to blow up. Do you feel like after you reflect on this, because you've touched a nerve, right? And with unintentionally touched a nerve, you would have not been like this. You would have been a little bit more careful, I'm sure. Now that we've had a conversation, I'm sure you're not, you will not be inconsiderate, if that's the word I can use. But I think that's the answer. Do you feel like going back and saying, hey, I put it like any other post, and here are my lessons that I learned, which is, here's the good, this was my intent, but I realized that this is what I was.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people are more forgiving in a way where they'll come back and they'll say, okay, emotions have passed, and now here's my statement that I've put across, and it's a lesson I learned?
Which is what I did today. But
you said, I'm never putting up another LinkedIn post. That is just stupid. That is like, I'm going to do more drama here. You will not hear anything from me. But that's not the answer.
It's not worth it. The hate was not worth it. I don't derive.
That's an interesting.
I don't derive any benefit from putting on LinkedIn. Neither does my business. I don't get paid for it.
Sure.
I don't get real validation.
But I mean, then going back to why did you do it? And I think all of us are doing it, at least people who are putting out thoughts that are borderline not diplomatic, is coming from a place of, hey, here's my opinion that no one else seems to be voicing.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it for the small sect of people who want to hear this.
Correct.
Right? So it was feeding you back some level of, hey, this is me doing better, or this is me trying to do my bit.
No, I agree. I did it because I felt like my candor was needed by people, or I had access to mentorship and advice, which a lot of people today may not have directly. So this was my way of kind of giving it. I just felt I can continue doing that, but publishing publicly, where you are vulnerable to being misinterpreted, people who don't know you at all, kind of just everyone has a voice, and without context it becomes, you suffer. Like I suffered for the last 24 hours. I can tolerate it, But I don't think it's worth it.
So I think there's a lesson there, right? And that's what I want to. I'll push you and I'll ask you why I'm
Yeah.
asking you this, right? Because I think there are two ways to look at this situation, right? One, you hit a nerve, and now you know that this is a big problem, and it seems to be like a underlying problem that everybody has a deep opinion on. It's troubling everybody in some way. For me, I would have looked at this as, damn, I hit a gold mine. Now let me shut up for some time, and then let me start asking people questions about how to solve for this. How do you help people understand what they want? Because this seems like a universal problem that everyone seems to have such a deep opinion on.
Yeah.
I only say this because let me flip it into my favorite topic, right? Is it's damn hard to be a woman in the ecosystem, right? And I'm not founder, of course. I think founders is hard, but I think anyone, right? Because you're getting into a system where you think, talk differently. Your opinions are different. Now you have a choice. You state your opinion. It can be in the most polite way, but the person opposite you, chances are, does not resonate with you and does not agree with you, and hence the backlash is hard. Which is, your discomfort has been extreme, but imagine doses of this discomfort every day, right? And it is the reason why people fall off at different points, right? And I think that's my question, where if people like you say, man, this is too much, this is where I say, or you take it and you process it and you say, shit, I hit a nerve. Now, how do I be more diplomatic about saying I'm going to solve this? I think that's the way I look at a bunch of these problems, which is when people react so badly, there's a fire there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, damn, that is what I'm going to solve over the next few months. And I may not do it directly, but I'll find people to do it.
No, I agree with you. So I don't want to go into a shell, become cut off, etc. My only reservation is to publicly post things. I will continue to invest. I will continue to mentor. I'll continue to be part of social situations.
But trolls exist, yeah. Trolls are part of life. I know it's a personal question, right? I mean, it's something that I ask myself all the time. I'm like, because we spoke about funding, I'll tell you. I think the piece that I made, I got into the big boys game. I went for the big shot and I'm like, dude. And I tell everybody who joins my company, right? I'm like, 90% chance of failure is there. That is on day zero, right? Next, you have joined a company that has 3 co-founders, but a woman CEO.
Yeah.
And capital comes to the CEO.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody says, capital comes to the CEO. 2% best capital comes to women. So 90% chance of failure, 2% capital pool. You decide if you're willing to take this risk. Right? And I think that's a very open conversation, and it's almost like something that I've made sure in my head, right? And the answer is, and we have a standing joke in our company, which is 1 in 100 pitches potentially see success. Is that the metric for men? With women, it's 1 in 300. Right? So in my head, I'm like, 300 pitches I have to do to close a round.
Yeah.
Now you make peace with it. Right? Which is, how do you start enjoying this processing? It is what it is. The odds are stacked against you. But if people like you and me don't do it, who will do it? How do you push the needle a little bit?
Yeah. I sometimes wonder whether it's worth it. That's the only question. Because
if I had asked myself this question, I would be sitting some beach right now like, life is too short for this crap.
Your context is absolutely right. No, I'll think harder about it.
You should.
You made me think harder about it. My current belief is I lose nothing. My life continues the same way. I just don't take this pain.
But life is, So, my friends joke, right? They think, like, one of my closest friends looked at me that day. I was going through a shit day. Some dude had said something really shit to me. And like, full anger. And she was like, why are you being this activist? Why? She's like, can't you just shut up and do your job? Why are you fighting everybody's battles? And I'm like, dude, if I don't fight,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have nothing to lose, which is, I have a great life. I have a great set of friends.
Yeah.
I'm in okay health.
Yeah. Some people say that, right? That talking or speaking your mind hurts. So don't do it, which is where I'm kind of whatever. I'm in that park for this, this temporary phase of my life. But staying quiet hurts more.
It'll hurt you more, I think.
Yeah, that's the issue. it didn't hurt on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. I kind of don't miss that at all. LinkedIn I might, because it's a place where I genuinely feel I
Yeah.
reach people professionally, founders, etc. It's the trigger for the barbershop was the fact that on LinkedIn people started saying, hey, we want to learn more, we want to know more. I would engage with other founders who would like put stuff up, and then there would be like long threads, and I'm like, cool, that's interesting conversations. I think I'll miss LinkedIn a lot more.
100% you'll miss it. I'm 1/100th of what you do because it's very early, but we spoke about this, right? For me, I realized that it doesn't affect my business in any way.
Yeah.
It doesn't get me money. On the contrary, it actually, and I'll tell you the truth, like after a bunch of pitches, the feedback that's come back is, Arey, Bhavna's very vocal. She will say too many things. It's too
Are you
dangerous.
serious?
Yeah. I mean, I've been asked to tone it down. I've been asked to be more diplomatic. Money will not come. And I'm like, man, don't you think all of these are excuses? I mean,
Fuck.
yeah. So I think the answer is there are different reasons, but then you have to choose you need 1 in 300. So
Yeah.